I already know the amount of hate I'm gonna get from people online is gonna be incredible. I guess for good reasons, but guess who doesn't give a damn? This guy, because I'll be driving an E39 M5 wagon and you're not. Welcome back to Yev's Builds, dude. If you're not aware, this is my beloved clean title E39 M5. It's an 03. It has a lot of weird electrical, I guess, problems, and they're not even really problems, they're just minor, very minor things that I could fix and clean up. But your boy never had plans to sell this car in the first place, because back during COVID I got it for an absolute steal deal. Auction cars, they go for as much as I got this one back in the day for it. Never had plans of selling it, but to make it perfect I wanted a wagon. So I just picked this baby up and we're gonna swap everything out of this car and put it into here. Again, easier said than done. I'm expecting all the hate. Do whatever you want. I am doing the swap. These are my cars and this is my absolute perfect combination. If I have an E39 M5 wagon, that to me is absolutely perfect. And you might be asking yourselves, isn't it enough that you have a daily E46 M3 and the V10 E46 M3? Don't you have enough projects on your hands? Believe it or not enough. Because as I'm saving up for this car and as I'm buying parts and saving up for parts, things can take a long time, and to be honest, haven't touched this thing in about a month and a half, maybe 2 months now. So in the meantime, while I'm getting bored, I will be doing this swap. It's a shame, I get it. A part of me is kind of saddened that I will be pretty much dismembering a perfectly, you know, clean title M5. I get it, I get the hate, but I don't care, dude, because these are my cars and I'm not selling them. I have no reason to. They're my dream cars and I'm building my perfect dream garage. So it's exciting, dude. It is very exciting. So what we're starting off with is a 2000 E39, clean title as well. Got it for an absolute steal deal. Got it for 600 bucks, dude. Title in hand, everything. It needs some love. It needs a full respray afterwards. The whole roof is faded. There's a lot of little things here and there that will need to be addressed, but at the same time, I'm swapping literally everything over from here into here. The only thing I'm not swapping over from the M5 are the rear seats, because obviously the wagons have completely different seats. But yeah, this thing's trashed. This thing's trashed. It needs love. And this baby is just sitting here collecting dust, molding. I already have a leak. If you don't know, E39s have leaks. They tend to leak around this pillar right here into the interior, and you get a little puddle down in the footwell. It's starting to do that. This thing has age. This thing has a lot of miles. So if, I know I could have sold it and made some money on it probably, but not a whole lot. This thing has over 200,000 miles. Drivetrain is completely solid, not a single leak anywhere, okay? While the engine's out, I'm gonna do the rod bearings. It needs love for sure. But why not take this heart of this beast, stick it over to this thing, and just have the perfect daily driver? Anyway, I'm gonna put this in the backyard for now, because this thing will be untouched for a while until I completely dismember this thing and have this ready to be swapped in with that. Let's just get on with it, I guess. This is gonna be a whole new series. Hoping to get it done by the end of summer. Let's go. And now fast forward a few weeks later, this is what we're at, okay? The whole car is pretty much disassembled. And why I say a few weeks is because, well, my garage is absolutely full. I don't want to start taking the M5 apart because all of this stuff is inside my garage. Some of it was sold already. Luckily, the engine and the transmission were sold. I didn't want to bore you guys with me disassembling this, because every freaking video you've seen of these swaps, it's just a bunch of time lapses of them taking things off, and I don't care for that. So the plan for today, I'm not going to park the M5 next to it quite yet, simply because I want to completely clean up this engine bay. Also, I need to sell a bunch of stuff from the inside in there, because literally the garage is just, I mean, it doesn't look that bad now because, well, engine and transmission are gone, but the engine and transmission was here for about a week or so. All this interior stuff needs to go, man, because can you imagine if I start taking the M5 apart and keeping all the things that I need? Unlike all of this, I don't need any of this. Dude, this is gonna be a complete cluster, man. And working simultaneously on the V10 M3 doesn't help it at all either, you know what I mean? Once the bigger items from the wagon are sold, at least a majority of them, that's when I'm gonna bring the M5 in, and I'm gonna start disassembling the M5 and start throwing things in there. In the meantime, I'm gonna be ordering rod bearings for the M5, subframe bushings for the wagon, the differential bushings, just a few maintenance things while all the items are out. And also in the meantime, I figured figured while all of this is out and the whole car needs to be resprayed anyway, which by the way is going to be a really sweet color. It's going to paint match with that car eventually when they're both done. I do like the idea of having a black engine bay, but I don't like the idea of having a matte black engine bay. So I'm going to get rid of all of this, just take everything out completely since I have to refreshen up majority of the stuff anyway, respray it with black, clear coat it, and make it all super nice and clean. And that's when the engine is going to start to go in afterwards. So let's get going with it, dude. I am very pleased with this. This is looking real good. And now, well, we wait for more parts to show up for the S62, the rod bearings, the engine mounts, some other stuff, some hoses. And we're gonna take the M5, park it right here, jack it up, and start transferring the drivetrain over first and foremost. It is Friday. Your boy took the day off because, you know, I'm very sick right now. You could hear that, right? I want to work on the M5. I want to work on the wagon. I want to start taking things apart. It's going to be beautiful today and tomorrow, so I just want to get as much done as absolutely possible. The plan for today is... Of course, as soon as I'm ready to pull the engine out, everything's pretty much disconnected for me to do so. It starts raining, dude. Freaking Portland, dude. Well, the engine is officially out. Interesting thing about the M5, had no idea. There's no steering rack. There's a steering gearbox. Incredible, old school, love it. Of course, nothing comes super easy. I can't even get this flywheel off because you need a special Torx T60 socket in order for me to get in there and get it out. It's supposed to be extra long to clear all this space. It's like 2 inches almost, if not more. So while I'm waiting for that, I will start taking more things off from the M5, like the fuel filter, the fuel line, going from the fuel filter up to the engine bay, because it's a little bit different on the M5 than it is on the wagons. I'm gonna take the front subframe off, put it on this baby. I would be lying if I said I don't feel bad, even a little bit, for doing this to a clean title M5. I do. I genuinely feel pretty bad. But I clearly have made up my mind. There's no turning back now. We're doing this. We're doing this. So as I'm laying here under the wagon, I am realizing that obviously all the fueling system is completely different, especially considering that this is a 528 and not a 540, which is what people usually recommend doing swaps in. I got way too good of a deal on this car to not get it, so I'm gonna have to swap over the entire fueling system, all the lines, which essentially is not a lot of work at all. This feed line, right? This feed line is the biggest reason we gotta swap it out, but this hard line on the M5 is a completely different shape, and the feed line going up into the engine bay it just doesn't fit properly. So I'm thinking, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Swap out all these fuel lines to the ones from the M5, which is essentially not a lot of work. As these lines go in, the feed one, which is right there on the right, it turns right and connects to that blue. It is in a completely different spot than the M5. The M5, instead of turning right, it goes up and around and to the opposite side of the fuel tank. So on the M5, it goes to the passenger side, which is where the fuel pump is located. On the wagon, it is on the driver's side, I believe, from what I'm understanding. So I'm just gonna have to drop these fuel tanks, both of them, just disconnect all the lines, and just do a direct swap, and that's gonna be the easiest way to go about this, I think, since the fuel pump from the M5 has to be put in anyway, which I actually need a new one because mine's busted, but regardless, I'll swap that out later. It should be essentially a very direct swap. Both fuel tanks are out after hours of trying to get those old hoses off. Clearly, these are very different tanks. In terms of shape and everything, they are the same, but this filler nozzle is different. The M5 one kind of goes straight more. The wagon one curves a little bit that way, a little bit more. So I can't just do a direct swap. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna swap over the fuel pumps and whatnot. Then I could put this tank back in and then get all the hoses and lines from this one and put them into here. There we go. All the fuel lines are correctly routed. Everything's pushed through from the M5 into the wagon. It's looking good. Looking all fresh. Filter, M5 filter with the regulator. It's all on there, bolted up. Didn't put the fuel tank in yet because I need to buy clamps. We will get that sorted out and everything should essentially button up exactly how an M5 did. Beautiful. As you can see, the subframe is out. Kind of washed it out where I could just to be a little bit better to work with and nicer to work with. But little care package came in for this thing. POWERFLEX coming in clutch again. Jake from POWERFLEX, thank you so much, bro. Got a bunch of rear subframe bushings. Got the diff bushings, and these are the subframe bushings for the rear. They're massive boys if you can't tell. They're huge. They're in there. But if you've seen any of my other videos, if you've maybe ever replaced bushings on a subframe on your own anyway, it's a pain in the ass to do these, especially these massive ones. I've never seen anything that big, but there's 4 of them we gotta do. 1 in each corner, and then 3 for the diff. So that'll be fun. Anyway, we're gonna hop on that, ain't that right? Yeah, you are. I'm gonna put the fuel tank on for now, and this guy's gonna be chopping away, baby. Now that this whole subframe is completely completed, huh? All the bushings are out. Every single bushing that we need out is out. Subframe bushings are currently in the fridge overnight. You know how this goes. POWERFLEX, baby, and Uncrustables, you know what I mean. Okay, well, I guess let's start with some, and we're just gonna put them back in, baby. Well, the rear subframe is pretty much done. Now I can literally put this thing back in and call it a day. Then put the diff in, and then later on, I know, if you've seen all this, I know, I'm gonna replace all these bushings later. Also, I can't afford to buy new old bushings at the moment, so bear with me, I'll do those later, okay? I do need to upgrade the rear into coilovers since my fronts are coilovers from the M5. These are not coilovers. There's lowering springs. It'll do fine for now, but I need to get some BCs to match the fronts. So, in the meantime, this is pretty much ready and set to go. The rest will be easy. And I think right now is gonna be a good time to stop this video because it's been kind of a lengthy one. Probably, I'm assuming. But in the next one, dude, we're addressing some internal work on the S62. Some very important internal work. If you don't know yet, these guys. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned. I'm telling you, it's gonna be exciting. Also, the V10 M3 is about to get fired up. As I'm making this current video, a week from today, it should be fired up if everything goes smooth. Dude, I'm just telling you, a lot going on in the background, a lot of fun and exciting things. So, you know, a cliche, like, subscribe, share. I know, but just do it. Peace, anyways.